At this point, I know that the narcissist misses me, and it's very likely they miss you, especially if you identify as an empath or you're just a good person in general. You see, narcissists, especially after a discard, they try to put up this fake thing on social media that they've now found their perfect person all of a sudden, right? All of a sudden, they completely changed their personality and they were able to find that person that's way better than you. It's all lies. They are just putting this up on social media to make you feel bad. And what does that say about the narcissist? What, like, in what world does a healthy, sane person do something like that? Yeah, we all have our moments where we want to like get back at an ex, but it's never on the level of sadism that a narcissist does it. They put very mean, like awful things on social media. They tell it to other people so that they can tell you. But these it's on another level. It's on a level of it has the intention of inflicting pain and damage. And the narcissist is doing this because they know deep down. See, they don't have the capacity to feel. It's very hard. No one's ever. There's narcissists who say one thing, but it's coming from a tainted source. Now, I I watch a lot of the self-aware narcissists, and it's hard. You have to take what they say with a grain of salt. And even if they are being honest about their disorder, it's still coming from a disordered mind. So the information could be still wrong, even if they're trying to intentionally be truthful. Because they still have NPD, they could be distorting the information. One of the hallmarks of narcissism is that they don't understand their emotions. They don't. And what I'm trying to get at here is I don't know if they have the full range of emotions. Some narcissists say they don't. Some say they can't feel certain emotions, like especially like empathy. But the thing is, they a lot of them that I've seen do claim to feel regret and shame, and I think that's a big part of the disorder. So they definitely, if they ran into you and they obviously messed up because it's what narcissists do, and you were a good person, they don't really meet people like that. Well, they meet them, but they don't really get to hang out with them and date them because, well, good people. The problem with being good, the problem with anything, any personality trait, right? You always have a deficiency somewhere else, even if it's what like a personality trait that people consider very positive, like someone that's super outgoing. A lot of those people, one of their negative qualities, you could say, or just the opposite end, is that they can't really be at home alone and they can't really sit and focus, though they can't ever be like that computer program guy that like sits at his desk all day. They need that social interaction too much. So a lot of personality traits are a double-edged sword. And when you are empathetic, when you are a good person, you end up giving too much at times. Just like, that outgoing person just is too outgoing and they might not fulfill their other duties they have in life because they're too focused on, the social game. As an empath, of course the narcissist regrets losing you. And this is going to lead to them collapsing a lot of times. I've heard that narcissists collapse every once in a while because, and it makes sense. I've had sort of collapses in my own personality because I go through these periods where like I hyper focus on whatever, like I did it with like narcissism where I like for 6 months all I did was like absorb as much information every day, all day, and I kind of it's like burnout. And narcissists do this as well because they're always propping up this personality. They're always putting up this thing, and for them it's like it's very heavy, right? Like when you have to do a complete 180 on your personality, it's very difficult, and then putting up that mask for them is hard. It's hard for anybody, but especially for a narcissist. And as they eventually they they go through these periods of like dissociation, they go with the new supply, and they lie to themselves. It's part of the disorder, and it's part of why you shouldn't take it so hard, and why you shouldn't even care. Like they like I've said, with the mental gymnastics, they play these weird games with themselves where they say they flip the script. I saw it in my own discard where, you know, I am no perfect angel, but I don't believe I tried my best. I'm not a perfect person, but I don't believe I ever did anything to compromise the relationship with the narcissist I had. But definitely not, I don't think I deserve that abuse. But the point is, at the end of the relationship, she told all the flying monkeys. She posted on social media that it was completely like people usually post on social media that like it was this person's fault. Like she completely flipped the script, and like it was 0% her fault and basically all my fault. Something as silly as that could really only make sense in a narcissist world. But that's something that's really helped me get over even caring if they miss me or not, is just the fact that they really like drink their own Kool-Aid, if you've ever heard that term before. They get drunk on their own supply, and that's something narcissists do too. If you didn't know, they when they are running low on supply, they'll sometimes kind of create their own supply. That, like I've mentioned before, they'll create it from inanimate objects. The narcissist mind is a complete mess and jumble of like of just cope. You ever that meme copium? That's what the narcissist is. It's just one big cope. And of course they miss you, because at times reality hits them in the face. They're crazy people, but they're not so crazy that they don't that they can't deal with reality, right? Like gravity still affects them just like us. And at times those memories are going to haunt them, and they really think about all their supplies. They have this That's part of the disorder, where they have this thing about their mind where they can't really they push things out, and they can't really get people out of their mind. It's every supply is kind of ingrained in their psyche. I mean, I've heard people, narcissists, say that they talk about supplies they've had from like a decade or more ago. That's insane. I don't really think about really anyone I dated from 10 years ago. But because a narcissist mind works this way, because they can't get you out of their mind, that also obviously leads to regretting. But that's why they have to play those mental gymnastics and change the story, because if not, it would kill them. It would go against all of their grandiose beliefs. So next time you're wondering if the narcissist regrets what they did, if they miss you, they do. Like one, in their split mind, one part of them does, and then one part of them thinks you're complete crap, which is not true. But like to them, you change back and forth all the time, and that's their karma, and that's your revenge. If you're into that sort of thing, you are always going to be like a splinter in their mind, and you're always going to torture that narcissist. The good memories of you, especially you, because you were different. You stood out from all the other people they meet, because that's a very common myth and misconception that narcissists have all these amazing people around them. Sure, sometimes, but for the most part, like I said before, birds of a feather flock together, and the narcissist hangs out with other low level scumbag type people. So next time you feel down about yourself, about if they miss you, or if you miss them, just know that of course they miss you, and the only reason you miss them is because you miss that lie, that love bombing that they showed you in the beginning. You don't actually miss them. You miss the potential that was there, that they lied, that they made you believe was there, but was obviously just a complete lie.